That's it. What more do we need?
Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to the Banff podcast. I'm your host, Mike Lafferty. Here is our obligatory intro music. And as Alice Pang says, I have a grenade launcher, so let's go.
Hey!
Today we are playing Forgotten Ruin using do we call them the Super Rules or the Super 6 rules?
Super 6, whatever's clever.
All right, cool. And we are down 3 guys, so shit's getting real. We might not make it.
Positive thinking.
Positive thinking. John, right below me, he is the chief of our riverboat. Alice, what's your character's name? Knuckles?
Knuckles. I am playing Knuckles, and I am a scout as well as a sniper, and I happen to have our only AoE weapon, which happens to be a grenade launcher.
I got a feeling that'll get a lot of use here very shortly.
I know, that's why I brought it up.
And I am playing Jex, who can heal people. He's a corpsman, and he can drive the boat. So, and it's just us against. Who are we facing off against, Walt?
So when last you left our intrepid heroes, you guys had just finished fighting a water monster. You picked up Echo, who's one of your boat drivers, and he got it killed John. It hurt one of your boat drivers, and he basically stayed on the boat. You got attacked by some archers. I didn't do it. You got attacked by some archers coming up from the water, and one of them you managed to capture. And right after capturing that dude, he basically told you that, yeah, don't worry about it, guys. You know, I personally won't fight you. Hey, how are you? He's like, I personally won't fight you, but they might. And, you know, you guys hear like a large amount of troops storming toward the gates.
Oh, bloody hell.
So you got the guy right in the center. He's right here. You guys are kind of like all around him. And you hear from the main gate that is over this way, you hear like a whole lot of commotion.
Okay. Lala, looks like people are saying hi to you in the comments. It looks like Brendan from Survivor Studios. Hey, well, we had a question last time. Someone was asking how could they get their hands on this game because Kickstarter is done.
The Super 6 system or the game in general? Seeing as you don't have the actual comment, I will answer both.
Yes, please do.
So the game is in production. Actually, that guy down there, 2 squares, is doing a bunch of art as well as some others, and we're just waiting on those to come back to put it into layout. Game's done. We just, got to send it out for all the art stuff. The Super 6 system is complete for this, but it has to be assembled. So like it was written in different sections, and then it just now has to be collated and put together. There's a 5e variant of this as well. The gentleman who is writing it, Rob, is amazing and is doing a really amazing job. So I personally am not a 5e player, but for those who are, I have been looking at a bunch of the stuff that is coming out for this. The way he has the rules laid out, it really has a nice feel to it. So, and he did a lot of, hey, Sparky. He really did a lot to make sure that 5e fans would not only have their favorite version, he's making sure that the 5e fans not only have their favorite version, but it's as close in 5e to Forgotten Ruin as they can get it.
Is he making? I know we're going a bit off topic here because we should be gaming, but the modern day firearm damage. How's he working out in relation to? Because I'm always a bit concerned about when you want to drag that modern day firearm, because when you read the books, they don't need magic weapons. The modern firearms, ammunition, explosives is enough to take down most things. Mm-hmm. So how is he incorporating that? Is it a lot more damage than say your stock arrows and your daggers and your swords, or what?
I believe so. So I believe because he's using we got him some resources to kind of compare with what he had in his head. So he's going to be using a bunch of different resources to make sure that that troll that normally is only affected by fire or like massive amounts of damage because of how fast it heals, that troll will definitely be taken down by like a Carl Gustav, or if they have the new landmines that the United States Army are using and stuff like that. So I mean, he's got it on the roll. So he's
cool.
He's doing quite a good job. And he was worried. He's like, "Am I not going fast enough?" I'm like, "Dude, get it right." So
because I suppose that the tricky thing is making the players, for those who've read the books, making them want to rely on the modern stuff and the forge rather than just going, well, actually, I can do more damage if I go and pick up that magic sword. And suddenly your characters all end up just being fantasy characters.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's one of the things that, we struggled with in making all this stuff happen, is that, you in all these games, you have to understand that while the magic is capable of really incredible stuff, it's hard to come by. It's hard to acquire the skill. Often there's a huge cost associated to using it. Whereas if I just, if I point a Carl Gustav at a troll and, mash that trigger, an ADPDM round is going to explode, decimate the target and everything around it. And I have a nice clear path and time to reload versus Kennedy with his magic staff, his fire staff from the book.
Yeah.
He had the ability to like waste that entire line of troops coming in at them. But once it was done, so was he. He was exhausted. The staff was out of juice. There's no way to reload it at that particular time. So I mean, So
there's also a long history of having issues balancing modern day weaponry in D&D, various systems, including all the way back to say like D20 Modern, where at first level you are dealing with a weapon that, well, none of the players can actually handle, and you're supposed to face them. So one shot will 3 times your base hit points at starting levels.
And that's the thing with the OSR and the Supers version that I wanted to make sure of, is that it's not supposed to be balanced. You're not going to balance against a firearm and a guy who really knows how to use it, unless it's something like, the firearm isn't going to affect a ghost. So, you can shoot that ghost all you want. It's not going to do anything. So, I mean, there are checks against different things. Like if you see in the second Forgotten Ruin book, they go against an army of undead, and like all these guys on one side are shooting machine guns, but then these ghosts roll in and just swamp them. So like there's problems, for both sides. The fantasy types, when they're solid, have a problem with dealing with machine guns, mortars, explosives. But on the fantasy side, there's certain like magic or like undead or something like that aren't affected by bullets. And it's like, all right, keep mashing that trigger. We're just going to get close to you and swamp you that way. If that makes sense. Sparky saying, in the Ruined game I ran, the players ran into some magic that neutralized gunpowder in the middle of a brutal fight. Yeah, that would suck. Yeah, definitely. That's why you still have a mortar team and a radio. Do it dirty. All right, so you guys are all surrounding this very warrior-esque looking dude. He's basically told you, like, I'm not going to fight you, but I ain't speaking for them. You can hear troops on the other side. Oh yeah, that sucks too, Sparky. From on the other side of the gate, that's over on this side.
Oh, right over there. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
You hear somebody like shouting in a very strange language.
So one, I don't have control of my miniature.
Which
Two,
which guy do you have? Polo?
I have Knuckles.
Knuckles. Where is Knuckles?
Thank you.
I got to put
And
Knuckles on the board.
As soon as I hear commotion, I'm going to do my job, which is take an Overwatch position and see what I can see out there and line my grenade launcher up in case I need to shoot it.
Gotcha.
Let the people parlay, but if their parlay goes wrong, I am going to blow them up.
Is there any way, Walt, that one of the MGs mounted in the boat can be unhitched and quickly grabbed to mount on one of the battlements?
Oh, absolutely. In the center of the boat is a 240 Bravo. It's a medium machine gun. Those can be disconnected. The corners of the boat have the M134s. So those are the miniguns. you can't disconnect those. It's
Okay.
hooked to a power supply.
I'll shout to whoever one of the guys on the boat and get them to grab one of the MGs and hot foot it up onto the palisade and get it mounted in one of the towers to give us a bit of covering fire from the direction these guys are coming.
Gotcha.
Hey, Walt, is there any way I can move the map so we can see the western side, the gate we're talking about?
I would be totally happy to do that for you. It's just that there's no gate actually there. That's the end of the map.
Okay.
Oh, all right, cool.
Little imagination.
Am I theoretically in the tower closest to the gate at this point then?
Yes.
Okay, great. So when the boss calls that through the comms, I call back. So we're not talking?
Well, we are, but we also want to make sure that if the talking goes awry,
Cool.
we've got maximum firepower at the maximum range.
Yep.
So
that's why I got up here. Okay, cool. Just, suddenly I heard start cover fire. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Should I start shooting now?
All right. So you guys are kind of hanging there at the door.
Yeah. So I think we will all be on top of the battlements, covering the angles as best as we can with the limited number of people we have, with the highest caliber weapons we have, basically. Walt.
Gotcha. And
should we get that minigun off more than one boat and put it on a tower just so we can have like interlocking fields of fire?
I can't do that. The miniguns are tied to a power supply, so you would have to spend probably 20 minutes to a half an hour.
No,
We don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
All right.
So the door over on this side opens up, and toward that palisade that we can't see because map limitations. And there is one of these warriors sticks his head through and starts shouting. Alice, you understand the language, and he is basically calling for you to put down your weapons, and you guys can come to your total and unequivocal surrender.
Hey.
I translate that to the boss.
Okay, yeah, we'll try not to laugh at him when he says that. I think what we'll do is we'll counter his argument and say, return our troops to us that you've taken away and surrender yourselves.
He kind of like looks, is like waiting to listen, and then Alice calls down what you say.
I relate that with one modification.
Uh-huh.
I address him as Wombat Dan.
Wombat Dan. This was a story that must be related at some point when we have a little more time. So he seems pretty offended, and yeah. So he disappears from the gate now, and as he disappears, Echo is still on the boat, and he's basically telling you guys to get to cover behind the buildings, so that he has a. So they're on the boat with the minigun. Mm-hmm. So he's saying, if I can get a line of fire going that way, with you guys out of the way, we can engage the miniguns. If they.
How many people can we see through this doorway? Or from
right now, just the one, because the doors were closed.
Including so where I am.
Well, you can see there's a small forest on the outside of this gate, and you can see at least 35, 40 people in the front ranks. Okay,
I'm going to take aim and be ready to shoot that mob as best I can.
Yeah, I understand what Echo's saying, but I'm also mindful that we have a bit of a killing zone overlooking the battlements as such. While if we sort of already pull back to the boat, we're losing a bit of range of fire.
Gotcha.
So we will fall back to the boat for cover there if it starts going west, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, don't want to go west.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys get into positions. Get ready to lay some hate. Yes, Mike, you had something to say?
I'm trying to figure out the smartest place to be. Should I take cover next to John or be up in a tower like Alice?
You're playing Jex, right?
I'm playing Jex. I don't really have a big gun or anything.
So it's like
who's using the big the MG then? So what skill do you need for that? The MG, is that just
shooting?
You're shooting?
Shooting.
What's your shooting dice, Mike?
What is my shooting dice? 2D, not high at all.
Okay.
So yeah, the machine gun might be a benefit to you if you want to use one of the machine guns.
And those are back on the boat?
No, we've got one
brought him
pulled
out.
up. Yeah. So Alice has got a grenade launcher. Sorry, Knuckles has got the grenade launcher. And then if you mount the MG, and I'll sort of be between them, using my leadership as necessary, firing my MK18, I presume.
Okay. So should I be up in a tower or?
Yeah, I'd say we just need to be up in a tower or on the battlements, within kind of like 30 foot of each other, something like that. You know.
Well, also we had some guns that we were able to detach and get set up quickly on one of the other battlements, right?
Yeah, those are the 240s, the
Cool.
medium machine guns.
So we need somebody to man that. So maybe Jax can man that, since Knuckles has her own option for long range.
Gotcha. So Knuckles, you're in this tower here in the south, right?
Yes, I'm in the tower in the south. Aid's on his way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I be in this tower here to the north, or is that too far out of the field of fire? Too far
No,
out
you trust me. If you're elevated, you're gonna have a field of fire. That's no problem.
That's why I went elevated, because I'm a sniper and a scout. So elevated's where I go. Overwatch.
All right. So
proud of me.
The doors swing open, and the first line of troops start advancing through. They have shields, metal shields, and like spears, and they're walking abreast of each other in like a shield wall.
Phalanx formation.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Well, I am going to try and shoot over them if they are obviously not at this point, willing to give us our men back.
Should we roll for
I'm going to try and shoot past the phalanx wall to break the phalanx wall, since I've got a grenade launcher.
I just let them eat 40mm. They'll start that. I don't think their shields are going to help them too much.
All right, so let's get some initiative. Go ahead and roll.
How do we do that for this system?
So
roll your reaction.
Your reaction roll.
Okay.
2 dice.
You get an 8.
One dice. Man, my guy sucks. Okay.
You got a reaction of 1D.
1D.
It happens.
4.
Mike is 4. Okay.
John. You're on medic. You're on 10.
10. Okay. All right. So they actually got a lower reaction than John, you're up first.
Okay, well, I think everyone knows what they've got to do, which is basically just blitz them to hell. So I'm going to. So how many of those MGs have we got? 2. 1. So Jax has got 1. Oh, we've got 2. Okay, so both myself and Jax could have an MG, could we not?
Yep.
We might as well. And then, okay, and Knuckles has got her grenade launcher. Okay, right. So I will open up, lay a little bit of hate with the 7.62, I believe, and just see what happens.
All right, so you're using one of the machine guns?
I am, yes. Is there a way? So I don't know. When it comes down to sort of auto fight, is there a way to kind of like target multiple individuals with a spread or something, rather than going for like one person?
Well, that's what you're doing. You're going to be targeting the area.
Okay.
And they're going to be dodging a whole lot or trying to. There's Aid.
Hello.
Here he comes to save the day.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, they need the extra.
A bit odd, does it?
It's going to start getting weird.
There's a lot of figures on that board.
Yep. Okay. The figures are all these soldiers are basically storming you guys with phalanx set up, spears aimed at you. They're not jogging, but they are moving quickly and moving in time with each other. John, go ahead and roll your shooting.
Okay.
And Aid, can you just give me an initiative roll?
Yeah, I think I'm on 4D, if I remember.
He's fast.
Ooh, not this time, though. 9, 10, 12.
Yeah. Fast. All right, go for it.
Okay.
So John's going to go first, then you.
Okay. So 3 dice for shooting.
Yeah, that's the predecessor of the weapon you're using.
9. Okay, 9.
All right, and they're going to not get a 9. All right, so John gets a 9. That's plus 2. All right. So the way this works for those who aren't familiar with the system, it's a dice pool system. Basically, my dice versus your dice. But weapons in this system have a threat bonus. So you may mainly roll your skill, and your skill with the weapon determines your damage. However, certain weapons, such as the M240 Bravo medium machine gun, have a threat bonus, and that threat bonus gives you an additional part of damage per die used. And like right now, the threat bonus in this thing is heavy. So you actually swamp a good portion of the line. The shields explode on impact with these 7.62 rounds. Your rounds basically punish this first line, just cracking. And it's almost like watching a farmer with a scythe cut down wheat. A whole section of the line goes down, and they just start dropping in droves. This entire section on this side just gets mollywomped by that first level of fire, basically creating a hole through the offensive line. That brings us to Aid. What are you doing?
This is almost kind of like, I don't know. It's not much. It's too easy. Far from it. I just think it's almost kind of like a bit like cruel. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh, just wait. Just wait.
They might have a cave troll back
Bears
there.
never hurt us.
Yeah, they have a cave troll.
Aid, go ahead. What are you going to do? Oh, did we lose him?
No, he's still there.
His
Hey,
mic's
No,
off.
no,
His mic's off.
I'm muting myself again because I'm an idiot. Am I still on the boat or am I on land now?
You're on land.
Okay, cool. Right, I will. I'll just take that bit with the. You
You had Polo, right?
Yes, that's right.
Polo
Marco.
is right there.
Okay, cool. Right. Well, first of all, I'm going to back away a bit because I'm a bit too close. So I don't like that at all. So if I step back, somewhere nice out of the way. Yeah.
Aid,
Okay.
can I interrupt you for just 1 second? And I apologize.
Yes. That's right.
What happened to the guy we captured?
He's still tied up right here.
I guess it's too late to secure him somewhere differently then. Okay. All right. All right. Go ahead,
Okay.
sir.
Right. I believe I've got 5 dice. I think for shooting. From what I remember.
Jeez, he's a bit of an animal, your character.
A little bit. Let me see. Let me find Polo.
I'm having trouble finding the PDF with the characters on. So
I got you right here. So
doing
you
it
have
from memory.
You have shooting
Oh.
of 2D.
Oh,
Polo.
what
I know.
happened?
Boats. That's what I'm thinking of. Right.
Yeah, if you were on the boat, that's a different story.
I got a 7.
All right. The what are they going to defend with? Because now they only have this much. Yeah, fortunate son. So right now we're using the minion rules that are inherent in supers, and the group rolls as a group basically. And John's initial damage has lessened the potency of the group.
Cool.
So there are less dice for them to defend with, and yeah, they even though that's the case, they still manage to defend. They drop down low. They're hunkering down in the shields. The lesser impact of your weapon just tears apart multiple shields, but they don't look as though they were fully like trenched like they just were a second ago.
So just splinters and stuff going everywhere rather than actually any damage.
Correct.
Okie dokie.
So they rush. So they start rushing at you and Slider, and they are going to try and get it all up in your business. As they are rushing, you notice that more troops are coming out of the wood line behind that gate and are starting to fill in the gap. So Aid, one spearman tries to get at you with a 9.
Okay, so I'm going to use my reflexes, which is 4D then.
So you're kind of using the building for cover.
Yeah, just basically take a step, try and get it to like reflect off the actual brickwork rather than do anything against me myself. Okay, I got 12.
Oh, easily. So he comes in and they try to pin you like into that little culvert between the tents by putting the shield up, and he stabs in with the what do you call it, with the spear. It nicks the barrel and kind of goes sideways and tears a huge gash in the tent, but otherwise you're fine.
Okay, cool.
Slider is not so lucky. He gets swamped and knocked down. He's over here in between these two dudes, and you start seeing more troops filling in the gaps that were made by John initially. Lala, here it comes. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Punishment.
What is coming at me?
So right now you have let me just zoom out a little bit. You have troops on the inside coming at you here.
Yeah, I thought you meant you were shooting me.
Nope.
Okay, no, I'm gonna shoot them. Cool.
So real quick, give me an awareness check.
Okie dokie. Let me double check her awareness.
This is to see that cave troll.
Oh, nice.
He's swimming.
This is not about me being ambushed, is it? If it's about me being ambushed, I get more.
Yes, it is about you being ambushed.
Oh no!
How did that happen?
5d6 K4H. Got
it's the K in there.
Oops, I wrote the keep highest. No, I wrote the keep highest in the wrong. I wrote K4H instead of keep KH4.
There you go.
Do that again.
Reroll. We don't judge.
Because it's keep highest 4 since I'm specialized. Okay, that's better. 15.
Oh yeah. So moving in toward along the wall is very difficult to see. You have a chain of troops moving at you at this wall.
Okay. Well, chain of troops coming at me at this wall means that using my grenade is not going to be a great idea, but I do have the ability to shoot my rifle.
So they're on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take them time to climb up to you if that's what they're doing. And you also have more troops coming in over here
I think I'd probably focused on the troops that are charging towards the center of the camp.
Well, depends on what they're wielding, and I might have rolled my wrong awareness because I just realized it scrolled me out. Nope, I did did have it. Okay. So what are they wielding that I can see? Spears?
Spears, yep.
And how high up am I?
2-3 stories. It's pretty big high palisade.
Okay.
Don't sweat it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sweat it. Then I'm gonna shoot inwards, and I'm going to grenade launcher right at that campfire. It looks like it's a pretty good spot to blast a bunch of shrapnel at them.
So your knowledge of these grenades and how they operate, you're going to want to shoot over this way.
Okay.
Because if you shoot directly onto the campfire,
no,
yes,
wrong campfire.
Oh, which one?
The
over here.
Yeah, that's where I was shooting.
Go for it.
Okay. Does that work based on my knowledge of it? Okay.
So with your grenade launcher, you can either use your shooting, or you can use the
super weapon.
The super weapon itself. Yep.
Yeah, which is what I'm doing. I'm rolling a super weapon. That's why I'm choosing that, because it's got better dice.
I love better dice.
I know, I love better dice. Oh, I only rolled a 12.
12. Let's see what they're going to do. Now that their numbers are reinforced, they have this many dice. So with all the shields, armor, all the stuff that's around, when you drop this in, you manage to get like the immediate troops right here, but the consistency of everything they got going on has shielded the majority of these guys over here.
Okay.
So these few are down and out. There's just a massive explosion of black powder, shrapnel, and shale rock that is indigenous to the area. Just eviscerates those guys. My
other question was that one of the reasons why I was shooting into that area, I mentioned, getting stuff up into the air. Is that with the black cloud that was created, is that going to be able to create us some cover against people that are further back?
No, unlike the movies where it's like like huge fireballs and stuff like that, a grenade
smoke and shrapnel.
Yeah, a grenade going off is kind of like has the smoky, unless it's like detonated in something, usually has the smoking consistency of somebody smoking a pipe or a cigar. There's not a lot of smoke or whatever. It's mostly just destructive boom. Right. Mike, what are you doing?
So that's why I thought I was shooting it into something. My bad.
That's all good.
We had a ranger who was down over by Aid, right? Slider?
Yeah, that's Slider.
Okay.
He looks like he's doing some work to try and get himself out of it, but yeah, he got knocked down.
So me spraying and praying in his general direction is probably not wise, right?
Yeah, unless you are that good. There are no big fireballs in real life? No.
I think I just consider just carried on laying down the hate on the guys approaching.
Yeah, I will do what Chiefs recommends, and from my position, just try to take out some more of the group that's massing into our camp.
All right, because yeah, you're on this right here, right?
Yeah, I'm up there, so I've got a good flanking shot on them, I guess.
So you're gonna take the guys over here?
Yep.
All right, give me some dice.
All right, so I've got 2d6 for shooting, and
do it.
Do I get any with a threat bonus for the gun?
Oh, the threat bonus is added after you roll.
All right, cool. So rolling 2d6. Oh, Jesus effing Christ.
4, and with your threat bonus, let's see how they make out. I got so you get a threat bonus that's added after you roll and blah blah blah. So with your threat bonus, you have a 9. Excuse me, an 8 on that. I only got a 5. I got 2 2s and a 1. So that's an area effect weapon because of the way that it works. So you take out these 3 right here, and I mean they get pasted. Those 7.62 rounds are heavy. You see, bodies basically go rigid. You hear the metal twang of the rounds impacting that hard armor, and they fall over right next to their buddies. And you see this core group right here. They back out. They get out of Dodge. They're like, nope, we don't want any part of this. So
I guess that's what we were going for.
Absolutely.
They back out and then scoop around the outer wall so that they have cover from what you're doing with them. And I apologize for the heavy drinking. My Belgian Malinois is interrupting. Isn't that right, bro? So I like how the machine gunner's like, yeah, and then Tom Cruise to the right just starts putting on his sunglasses. So they what do you call it? They retreat, which leaves this group right here trying to get at aid tucked in behind the buildings, and these 2 right here who are going after Slider.
Okay, that's manageable.
This guy right here near the tent, that's the guy that you guys were beating up on.
So he's tied to a post or something?
Yep.
Okay.
So it brings us back around to the top of the batting order. That goes to John. Aid. Aid actually had the higher initiative. He had the 12.
Okay.
So you got this crew that's trying to get at you.
There, yeah.
Yeah, you got this crew trying to get at you. You got this guy right here who you just missed.
I'm going to whack the guy that's nearest to me because he's obviously within mass strike. So I'm going to tonk him on with a couple of shots. This is a 9 this time. That's better than Ben last time.
A 9. So you're just like right on top of him. You grab the front of the shield and just basically lay your M4 right on top of it. There's a snap of his head going back and forth like a Pez dispenser, and then his knees give out as he dies right in front of you.
Okay, good.
John.
Can I rip that shield off of him as well?
Oh, yeah.
So I can just basically have something to maybe just put my lead on as use as a bit of cover as well in case they start lobbing stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to still lay down some fire, but at the same time, I am going to be slowly backing back a bit now.
Okay, so you're over near Alice.
Yeah, so basically, I'll shout out to slowly start pulling back slightly, even though we're winning the day. I think we need to get a bit more into a tighter huddle. Okay, so there's 2 guys fighting Slider.
Yep. And
then there's a group about 4 or 5 to the north here.
Yes, correct.
Okay. How's Slider doing, by the way?
He doesn't look too bad. He looks like he's got it under control.
Okay.
He has stabbed. You can see Slider's knife protruding out of the guy's leg.
Okay, right. Okay. In that case, then, I will open up on this group here with the MG.
Gotcha. Run it.
So it's my shooting, which is 3 dice.
Yes, sir. So an 8.
Okay.
Let's see what they're going to get. And yeah, they do not get an 8. I'm going to have to switch out dice. The only problem is my Forgotten Ruin Super 6 dice are across the room and I can't reach them. So, yeah. So you pull the trigger on that thing. You throw a 6 to 9 round burst out of that. It's got that heavy chunking sound as it just chews brass, spits them out the side. You see your rounds not only penetrate the people, but it explodes several of these barrels, knocks out a bunch of like fruit and produce from this cart, and just sprays these 3 guys. This guy back here was saved by the cart, but these 3 guys are just chunked into.
So if this was an 80s movie, there'd be the standard exploding watermelon from inside the car as the round penetrates it. Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, thank God there's no 1980s, or at least no 1980s around here. So yeah, these 3 guys go down. They are if not completely dead, they are badly wounded. So from outside the palisade, you hear some screaming, and after the screaming, you get that's awesome. Outside the palisade, you hear some screaming. The language is very strange. It's not something you think you've heard before. Alice's character Knuckles doesn't seem to be picking up on it. And coming through the gate is like this massive swarm of looks like beetles, a carpet of like beetles.
Pleasant.
And it's just filling up the space and starting to rush you guys.
Nobody packed the fire flamethrower.
No. So okay. As the beetles get to the point of the bodies,
if only we had Yoko Ono here.
They momentarily halt, stripping the skin, flesh, and everything from the bones before they start moving forward again. What do you guys do?
Just for point of clarification,
yes.
These aren't giant beetles, right? These are just
they're about a little smaller than the size of your fist. So Alice, that puts you up first.
That's pretty big.
Walt, question. Mm-hmm. What kind of trick would it be to run along the top of this wall?
Oh, it's not a trick at all. It's wide enough that you can move across it.
Great. I'm going to call cover me, and I am going to haul butt. I'm going to try and go find the source of that weird speech, since that seems to correlate with these coming in. So I'm going to go and see if I can get close enough to target that person and put a bullet between their eyes.
All right. Give me an awareness check.
Sure. Not an ambush, so I only get to keep 3.
I really need new dice.
11.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so not only is that a success, it's a success with a raise. Yeah, Punishment 90. You've seen enough mummy movies to see where this is going. You know it. For this guy hiding from you, I rolled a bunch of snake eyes. So he's not hidden at all. He's just at the front of the trees. He's waving his hands around, and like right in the ground from beneath his feet, like all these beetles are coming up, almost like well springs, and they're just storming right toward the keep.
Okay, I will super weapon him because I don't want to take any chances.
That will be next round.
Okay, sure, that's fine.
Right. So then we got that's there. Mike. Oh no, 8 already went. Yep, Mike, you're up.
All right, area attack with the machine gun just at the group of beetles coming in.
Okay, go for it.
All right, I got 2d6 for shooting, so that's what I'll roll. Got a 10.
Ooh, that's not bad. Let's see what they're gonna do. So as you're firing, right, it's slamming into the ground, causing up huge wet geysers of mud and rock. It pelts some of the beetles, like, squashing them into paste. But as quickly as you're shooting, more beetles are coming in to take their place.
Okay, so it looks cool, but it's not really making an effect. I got you.
Just so that you guys kind of take notice that the guys that are still up, like the two that I need my pointer outer thingy, the two that are right here, and you got the guys fighting Slider, and then the guy you have captured. They are all freaking out. They apparently have seen this before, and they do not like being on this side of the swarm.
I bet they don't.
So then that brings us back around. Aid.
Does
Okay.
Knuckles? Sorry, does Knuckles' grenade actually got high explosive grenades at all?
She's
got a
probably
selection?
carrying, HEDP, anti-personnel, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Go for it, Aid.
Okay, so I'm walking backwards, shield up, gun rests on top of the shield, and I'm going to try and get back to like here-ish on the little path area. No, next one. To the right. No, to the right. That's it. There. That's it. Back up that way. So I'm getting nearer to the other part. And I know the bugs are going to be an issue, but I'm going to see if I can wound a couple of these guys at the back so they become bug food instead of attacking us. Okay. Well, you're muted.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
I thought it was me for a second. I thought,
yeah. So those two guys right there.
Yep, that'll do. I'll just see if I can just have a bit of a. So can I divvy up shots and spread it between the pair of them? Because I've got an automatic
that's a
weapon.
burst. Yep. So go ahead.
So what do I need to roll?
Yeah, you're shooting.
Just normal shooting. Okay, cool.
So you got. I believe you have 2D, right?
Yep, that's it. I got a 9.
All right. Let's see what they got. So the one guy right here, he has what looks like a feather-headed axe up behind his neck, and he's about to swing down on Slider when you send a round through his forearm and neck.
Okay.
It spins him and kind of like knocks him into his buddy. He trips and falls onto the fire, right?
Okay.
And just like he's done. Just as Slider uses your kind of like distraction to trip this guy off his feet, get him in a guard position, and start using his knife like a sewing needle.
Okay.
So you helped him out to do that. That brings us to John.
During our little excursion within this compound, did we notice if any of these barrels contained oil at all?
Why, yes, indeed, they did. Some of them did.
Somehow, I want any weapon that we have or that I'm carrying that could potentially ignite the oil if I was to fire into it. I know it's a little bit of a far,
you could probably punch a few holes in the barrel and then throw a flare.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan. I suppose ideally, I want to try and get as much flaming oil as a barrier between ourselves and this swarm of beetles before Knuckles takes out the witch or the wizard, whatever he or she is.
So you got these barrels over here that were punched up by Mike when he was dropping rounds toward this direction. They are currently leaking oil.
Okay, right. So can I fire a flare into those leaking barrels?
It's more like hand flares.
Okay.
So you're going to have to throw.
I'm going to have to move on to... What's the range of a throw? Would I be able to reach it?
Oh, you could reach it. Yeah, you just... the closer you are, the better the chance you're going to have.
Is that athleticism to do that?
I believe it is. Let me find Chief. There he is. So athleticism, you got 2D. You need to get a 6 or higher on 2 dice.
We can do that. We can do that. Let's give it a go.
Hopefully your dice aren't like mine dice.
Yeah, well, don't curse them. Here we go. Oh, yes.
An 8.
There we go.
All right. So let's see. Let's see what happens. Oop. Yes. So the flare immediately catches that oil on the ground. It catches fire to the first barrel, which then causes some overpressure, and the barrel doesn't explode, but it pops and starts popping the successive barrels next to it. So you guys get a heavy dose of. Let me change colors. So you guys start getting a. No, I don't want shapes. Shapes be stupid. I want to be drawing. You get a heavy dose of stupid. I can do this. I've done this before. I promise. You get a heavy dose of fire spreading all throughout the area just ahead of you.
Nice.
So it's all in here, right? It's just spreading right and kind of creating a barrier for the beetles.
I love the smell of burning beetles in the morning. That's the last time I'd attempt even anything remotely an American accent.
It's better than our British. So Alice, from your vantage point, you can see that the troops that are held like outside the base that were waiting for the beetles are now just kind of locked in phalanx position, just waiting for things to kind of happen.
Mhm.
Same thing for you, Mike. You can see it as well. These troops on the outside of the wall were waiting for the beetles to sweep through or kind of like run you into the river. And, now they're just kind of like holding like, all right, now what do we do? So that brings us to Alice. You're up next.
I'll shoot the person that was speaking the weird language.
All right. What are you using?
I'm going to use my grenade because I want them scared.
Go for it.
Why not?
I want to intimidate the rest of them.
Oh.
Oh my God. And he gets what do you call it? He got a 13.
Vaporized?
No, he did not get vaporized. So she hits the hill just ahead of him, like decimating a good number of his troops that were acting as bodyguards. He gets blown from the hill and knocked into the beetles. They seem to like pull away from him. So like they're not really interacting with him like they were with the other bodies. But he looks hurt and hurt badly. Mike, what are you doing?
What are the beetles doing? Are they stopping? Are they still trying?
They're
to
stopping, trying to find a way around the flame, and they're starting to travel around. So they're going away from the fire and moving toward the outskirts of the camp.
There's more barrels around that northern section there, Mike.
Yep. Can I lap some of those barrels?
Absolutely.
All right, then let's do that. What do you want me to roll?
So roll your shooting. Just to make sure you can hit them.
2d6.
Yep. Let me know what you get so I can see.
Got a 6.
The material will withstand. Oh, easily. So you hit these barrels here, which catch fire and start raining oil, creating like a stopgap, so that they're what do you call it? Hemmed in by the fire. The beetles change direction and are now like trying to climb up the little hill that's right here to move in between the fire like this way, but they're having like a hard time negotiating the hill. That brings us back around to Aid.
Okay, so no one's very near to me now, are they?
Nope.
Okay, so I'm going to back up again a bit further. I'm going to get towards the boat.
You got this guy who fell in the fire, but he's cooking, and the only living like Beastman style warrior that's alive is the guy that you captured.
Oh right,
don't kill him for the sake of it.
Yeah. So, hello. Okay. Am I near him?
Yes.
Okay, I will actually grab him. I'll drop the shield on the ground. I'll grab him and I'll drag him backwards towards the boat because obviously there was a reason we were keeping him alive. So I'm going to try and keep him alive.
Good deal.
And then I'll just basically cover the area where the beetles were coming through and see if any man-shaped things come through rather than beetles. And if they do, I'll shoot them next time.
Excellent. The brings us to John.
Okay, so the beetles are pretty much kept at bay. Can I see the target of Knuckles' fire? Can I see this chap?
Yeah, he's fallen outside the gate. So like he fell from his little perch. So if you're in just the right spot, you can see going right through here.
Mm-hmm.
You can see him trying to collect himself.
Okay. I will have a shot with my MK18 at him.
Go for it.
Which for me is 3 dice. 13.
13. He is going to evade. No. So he gets up, and the beetles are like, pushing away from him, re-engaging and trying to find ways into the fort. He raises his hand and starts speaking in that language that makes your teeth itch. And the beetles are breaking up. And Sparky, please take a competency die. So he raises his hand and he's just about to, draw on this force or power, whatever's giving him the ability to do this. As you sail around in between his teeth, the back of his head discorporates, and he basically switches off, and like a board that just kind of you set down and not in the right space, and it just kind of falls over at once. He falls. His feet do that thing that they do when you hit the ground real hard. Punishment 90 says, remember, Mike, post-mission, if he lives, make sure you give him a Snickers to apologize for the dozens of his friends you killed.
That is American diplomacy at the finest. Sorry about killing your friends. Have some chocolate.
And he falls over, and the troops look like they start to scatter.
That was a team effort, Knuckles.
Teamwork makes the
what
dream
was
work.
that, John?
Knuckles,
I said it was a team effort, Knuckles.
Yeah.
The team that was approaching you on this side, they start hightailing it for the forest.
They wrap. Yep. I'm not gonna shoot them. I'm not gonna pursue them or anything. All I wanted to do was take out what I believe to be their leader.
Excellent. Mike, what are you doing? Anything?
Bad guys are on the run. I guess I will go down and untie our captive and say, hey, sorry about, didn't mean to leave you tied up during the middle of the firefight and the fire and the beetles. Accept my sincere apologies about all that.
He says that. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Alice.
Okay. I was just going to say I wanted to go outside the wall and see if I could find our people.
You basically are out in like an engagement area. Like, looks like they cut back the forest so they could see people approaching or whatever. But as far as you can see, there's no sight or sound of any of the people that you came here for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't meaning to hijack them.
No, it's totally good. When you free this guy, he stands up and he's like rubbing his wrists and stuff like that, and he's like, since you kept me alive during that, I unfortunately am indebted to you. He's like, if you like, I will track my people to get back yours.
They should have surrendered. We gave him the option. We did give him the option.
I think that's a good deal, don't you, Chief?
Absolutely.
And
let's restock.
So as you start leading him back to the boat, the credits for this episode start rolling. Everything the music starts coming up. All the patriotic, hoo-ha from a mission complete, or at least a mission near complete. And Echo says, is there any point during this thing that I can get some real medical attention? Because I am still busted up, boss.
Yeah, we'll slap a Band-Aid on him.
And it's got to be like a Barbie Band-Aid or something like that. Or a strawberry shortcake.
A little flower
Hello
one.
Kitty. It's a Hello Kitty.
Hello
Kitty, that's the one, yeah.
My wife in the military used to actually, when people needed a Band-Aid, she in her first aid kit, she would give people poop Band-Aids, the little poop emoji. So Mike, we're at the hour mark almost. So I figured that would be a good place to stop and finish our 3-session playtest for the Super 6 version of Forgotten Ruin.
Get our people?
Well,
tune in.
If you guys wanted to do another session,
get our people back. We can't leave anybody behind. What kind of soldier are you?
Well, you drove off the main body, so there, yeah, that's what happened to them. You sent their Jeep flying, and now your people are in the wind. who knows? It could be like a whole thing, like Merry and Pippin being taken by,
Oh,
by
absolutely, yeah. New doors.
They're taking the CVs to Isengard.
Yep, they're taking the CVs to Isengard. Yes. So, Mike, did you want to take us out?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for tuning into the BAMF podcast. If you enjoy this kind of quality content, please support the BAMF podcast on Patreon or Ko-fi. And we'll catch you next time on the BAMF podcast.